Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel. You can also check me out on Spotify. However you're listening to my voice, I appreciate it. And man, it's been a minute. I'm trying to do this new format where I'm only talking about, the big shows. And man, I found myself this weekend like, should I watch GCW and talk about it? Should I watch MLW and talk about it? Should I watch UFC and talk about it? I was clamoring for wrestling. And I gotta admit, this has been the first time in a long time that I was clamoring for wrestling. I was just trying to watch it. I didn't have any wrestling to watch. I was looking for something to watch, and it felt good. I watched Battle Riot. Go out of your way and watch Battle Riot on MLW's YouTube channel. I just watched it. I didn't review it. It was good. It felt like wrestling. And right now, today, I'm going to be jumping on here talking about New Japan predictions. It's going to be, this Sunday coming up. New Japan Dominion, Osaka-jo Hall, Best of the Super Juniors 31 final. But before I get into that, I want to talk about a few things that interest me that I haven't had a chance to talk about yet because of this new format. One, Adam Copeland injury. I mean, you watched it from when it happened. He jumped down like a dart. He didn't jump down like you would a crossbody. It kind of makes sense because the man he was jumping on was covered in blood and barbed wire. So it kind of makes sense in the moment to jump down like he did. But there's a reason you don't jump 20 feet onto your legs, onto your knees, because something's going to break, something's going to buckle, and something did. So he's out of action for a while. And that's a shame because, I thought that match was the best match on the show. I think routinely Adam Copeland has the best match on the show and has the most compelling storylines, I feel like, for a while now. His stuff with Malachi Black, his stuff with Christian, he really does encompass like all of wrestling. Like it's the skills, bell to bell is good, the storyline is good, the entrances are good. He's a legend for a reason. Someone who's trying to be a legend, who I think has the markings of a future legend, Ethan Page. He was doing big things in Impact a few years ago, left Impact to sign with AEW, and I feel like his signing was the first time we realized that there's too many people on the roster, because he left a notable tag team in TNA or Impact Wrestling at the time, and everyone was like, oh man, what's going to happen with Josh Alexander? Well, what happened with Josh Alexander? He stayed with Impact Wrestling, and they made him a world champion. He's now like an icon for fans who watch TNA and Impact. Ethan Page lost in the shuffle. I think he might have won a title or two. They tried to put him with different people, like Dan Lambert, Scorpio Sky, Matt Hardy. He was in that thing. He was in the MJF thing that was about to take on CM Punk, but that got kind of squashed. And then he started just appearing on Ring of Honor. And this is a guy who can go on the mic, passes the airport tests, knows a lot about wrestling. He's booked his own wrestling company in Canada. So it's like, why isn't this guy, he seems to be a guy that you could push and you could trust, can do it all. And they just, for whatever reason, didn't do it. And he left, and now he's in NXT, making an impact, attacking, what's his name? Whoop that Trick Williams. And I think, this is good for him. I think this is big for him. I think he, I think he can, like I said, can go on the mic, pass the airport test, and he's going to be down there with a bunch of young guys that he can maybe teach a thing or two to, and maybe move up to the main roster. You never know. I don't know if he's moving to Florida or anything like that anytime soon, but I feel like this is a great addition to the NXT roster, and it's a good pickup for NXT. And you also have to look at it like this. AEW, sure, they signed Sasha Banks, millions of dollars, Okada, millions of dollars, Ospreay, millions of dollars. But then if you look at WWE, they're buying low and building high. Tama Tonga, he was like the never openweight champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling, been there for years, so he's pretty much, worked 10 years to be a mid-card singles guy. They brought him in. They brought his brother in. Everyone knows them for being Gorillas of Destiny, a part of the Bullet Club in New Japan. I think they're bigger stars now with the Bloodline, and I think they fit better in the WWE system because, they were always ruthless, but they weren't really as skilled in the ring as a lot of guys in New Japan. So they moved to WWE, where it's more about, the things that they're good at. And I feel like the same thing with Ethan Page here. You get Ethan Page low, a guy who's just wrestling in Ring of Honor. You have him attack Trick Williams, your biggest star, in your third brand, but he has enough cachet to people can kind of recognize him. Boom, you just have a star. So they're buying low, selling high, where AEW seems to be buying high and bringing them low. That's just how I'm looking at this, how I'm eyeing it up. Another thing I wanted to talk about is Becky Lynch's contract. Apparently her contract is up, as for the best of my knowledge when I'm recording this, and you got to be stuck on stupid to see her leaving WWE. I feel like there's no way she's going to leave WWE. Her husband's there. And another contract that people are letting go, or people are bringing up, that is going to be let go or something like that, is Ricochet. And I don't think the guy that they just gave the WWE Speed title to, of course, that's a very low title in the grand scheme of things, but they gave him something to do. And then they also, he's dating or married to or something, what's her name? Savannah Irving, the new ring announcer. And, so his spouse is there. I don't think you want to do the Buddy Murphy, Rhea Ripley thing. I think people want to just kind of work in the same company as their spouse. But so I think that both of these wrestlers, Becky Lynch and Ricochet, will re-sign with the WWE. Someone who didn't re-sign, or two guys that didn't re-sign, Gable Stevens and Cameron Grimes. Apparently Gable Stevens signed with the Buffalo Bills, which is insane to think about. Someone who didn't play football in college signed with an NFL team. The last time I can think about this happening is Brock Lesnar, who was the last person cut of the Minnesota Vikings like 15 years ago after leaving WWE and before going to UFC. So here is Gable Stevens, wrestled in the Olympics, 2021 Olympics or something like that. Did really well. Won the gold, or won some kind of medal. I think it was the gold medal. First time in like a million years for America to do that. Signed with the WWE. Wasn't good. Allegations came out. So it's like, dude, you suck. And you suck. Like, in and out of the ring. He got booed. Baron Corbin got cheered. He got booed. And then they brought him up to the main roster. Cameron Grimes, a guy who has, grinded it out on the indies. Great wrestler. Second generation wrestler. Signed in NXT, moved his way up through NXT, and made it to the main roster. They didn't really do much with him. He's now wrestling Gable Stevens. Apparently, he says he's lazy and everything like that. They go at it on Twitter and everything like that. But I'm a Cameron Grimes guy. I got to say, through and through. Gable Stevens, I hope that you're not guilty of these crimes that they say you're guilty of, because I don't want that to happen to anybody, but I do think you're guilty of wrestling crimes, and that is being lazy, not being appreciative of what you were given, despite having no, ability. So I'm all Cameron Grimes all day, but let's get to the point of this podcast, and let's predict what's going to happen on New Japan Dominion this Sunday, the wee hours of the morning. We have the IWGP Tag Team title, Bullet Club, Chase Owens and Kenta versus the Guerrillas of Destiny, the new Guerrillas of Destiny, El Phantasmo and Hikuleo, versus Mikey Nicholls and Shane Hayes, versus Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi. I have to say, I really don't mind who wins, but I don't want it to be Bishamon. They've held the titles for a while, and I feel like they only put these two together because they like them and they didn't know what to do with them, so I'm going to cross out Bishamon. Mikey Nicholls and Shane Hayes, no, cross them out. So really we got Chase Owens and Kenta versus Guerrillas of Destiny and El Phantasmo and Hikuleo. I'm going to go with El Phantasmo and Hikuleo. Guerrillas of Destiny, I feel like there's a little bit more upside to them than there is Chase Owens and Kenta. And they're the champions, so I'm going to go with the champions retaining here. Then we have the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television title. Ishii versus Jeff Cobb, 15-minute match. You know I love these 15-minute bangers. And I think Jeff Cobb just won the title. I think Jeff Cobb is keeping the title. New Japan Pro Wrestling King of Pro Wrestling title. So this always has a little bit of a stipulation here. Yuya Uemura versus the legendary in this this championship, Great-O-Khan. I'm going to say Great-O-Khan's taking the title, and Yuya Uemura is moving up in the world. The Never Openweight Championship, Shingo Takagi versus Hanare. I think Shingo is going to win this one. I think that the fans like Shingo, but he does, even though they put the world title on him at one point, they never really seem to want to go all the way with him. So having him in this world of the Never Openweight title division is good because he's a champion, the crowd sees him as a champion, and it gives him something to do instead of mess around in the world title picture, because it doesn't seem like they want to do anything like that. So I'm going to go with Shingo Takagi. And then we have the IWGP World Heavyweight title lumberjack match, Jon Moxley versus Evil. God, I like Jon Moxley. I like Jon Moxley generally speaking. He's great in AEW. He's got great character. Put down the bottle and picked up the title. You got to love the story. I hate Evil. This lumberjack match thing, I mean, it seems interesting, but I don't like the title on Jon Moxley, I gotta say. I don't like the title on Jon Moxley. I don't like how it became another mid-card title for AEW to use out of their like 4 or 5 mid-card titles, but I hate Evil. So I want Jon Moxley to win this match, and then I want him to drop the title to somebody. I want him to get rid of this title as quick as possible. I don't want to go into the G1 with Jon Moxley as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I'm just saying that, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm upsetting people. I don't know. And then we have the Best of the Super Junior 31 Finals. El Desperado, Taiji Ishimori. This is going to be interesting. In my opinion, Desperado should have been moved up to the heavies by now. He's got classic matches. Other classic matches, move him up. And then you have Ishimori, a guy who I think's home is in the Best of the Super Juniors, is in the junior rankings in New Japan Pro Wrestling, because he's just the man. His size, his stature fits, and his style in the ring, out of the ring is awesome, is cool. His fucking haircut, his fucking style that he's got. But I think he's going to get thrown around. And I think, oh shit, what do I think here? I think Ishimori's going to win this one. So my predictions: Guerrillas of Destiny, Jeff Cobb, Great-O-Khan, Shingo, Moxley, and Ishimori. Go to Vegas, put down some money on it. Those are my predictions. As always, guys, fly high. I'm out.